Thank you so much for the opportunity. I hope you can hear me well. Somebody react if not. Um, Thank you, Georgi, for an amazing presentation. I really love that. And I also want to start with the same thing. Let's roll up our shoulders a tiny bit. It's been an extremely interesting session, but online sessions are always hard. So I hope I can keep you entertained. I hope I have something relevant to say. I'm going to tell you about how the first large-scale Women's Day March in Finland was funded this year. And a couple of words about the whole context. Just a second, I get the thing working. Yeah. So who and what? That's me over there. My name is Aiski Ryökäs. I'm a communications and advocacy expert from the Finnish Women's Association called Unioni. Our NGO is older than the state of Finland. We're 130 years old, but I do want to say we are small and fierce. So we're less than 10 people working. But what we did is that late December in 2024, us and two other women's rights NGOs, independently of each other, thought that, okay, the global gender backlash is horrendous. The crazy austerity cuts that the government in Finland is doing to NGOs, for example, supporting domestic violence are crazy. We have to do something. But the issue with the gender equality and gender backlash is that it's not really a rallying topic because it's such a normalized thing. It's been around so long, so there is no particular big political momentum. But we thought that something has to be done. This cannot continue like this. So we figured out the plans of each other, and we got together. Thought that hey, globally the marches on 8th of March are very much a thing. We have to make one happen in Finland. We have no infrastructure, we have no money, we had no clue how do we do this, but we're going to make it happen. So what we did was that we collected a network of other organizations in varying levels of engagement to join us, and the three of us put together all of our efforts and decided to make this happen. In practice, particularly for fundraising, we had 5 weeks time because, December, Christmas holidays, so on and so forth. So we started fundraising in the very end of January for this thing. Good part was that we had a very tangible goal that mobilizes and touches people. Also, we had the first timer momentum of saying that there's something that never has been done before. That's very interesting for people. And the challenge was that we had no reference point whatsoever for how much do we actually need money? How much is it possible to collect? So on and so forth. Because us as Unioni, we were in charge of this. And we had systems in place, but we don't really have history of small donor fundraising. So this was kind of a trial run for us. What I mentioned about this is that we used all the three NGOs mailing lists. The size varies a lot, but the engagement rate also varied a lot. We had social media accounts. I'm just putting Instagram follower numbers there as a reference. They also varied a lot. And as a CRM, we used Action Network and fundraising platforms, Runde Donate. But so basically, we thought that, okay, we need to try to get at least 10,000 K just to fund the expenses of the march and the demonstration. So not even, anything else. And we thought that we have to be able to build a momentum to this thing somehow. So what we did, we chose a storytelling angle. So we collected, I'll tell you more about that actually in detail a bit later on. But we use storytelling. We emphasized using or doing socials and emails always in sync. We, of course, as everybody knows, we tied the fundraising part to be a larger part of our whole mobilization. Collaboration, allyship among NGOs is really, really important. With social media strategy, we try to ride the tides of political momentum when possible, and we really emphasize follower engagement. And I'm breaking these down a bit because these were the relevant parts that we think that made our campaign successful in terms of our goal. So storytelling angle, we collected anonymous personal stories about gender inequality, for example, surviving harassment. Here's just an example, apologize for Finnish language. You can imagine this is a really horrendous personal story. And that built a personalized reason for people to want the march to happen. So it made our call to action to donate a lot more personal. Here, just breaking down you some numbers of what we did. You can see very easily that when we use social media and emails always in sync, there are very clear peaks on the days when we got donations. And interestingly enough, we got the like donation sources, I think almost 50-50 from socials and from emails, which kind of tells about how like viral the things went when they went, because usually, of course, the conversion in emails would be a lot better. Then the whole idea of building the fundraising as a part of larger mobilization efforts. We really used a strong story about making a change with the Women's Day March to happen, and we used powerful images as well, as you can see here, with some very classic signs that I think everybody who's been hanging out in the feminist corner of internet recognize these kind of signs. So we were playing around with these and like different generations and so on and so forth. This is a relevant part that I want to emphasize. None of us would have been able to do this alone. So the core of the whole thing was that we 3 NGOs decided to collaborate, put in the same messages in our emails, same messages or co-posts in our socials. We were really putting our work time together, collaborating a lot. And also I do want to point out that we were tolerating a certain amount of chaos for the common goal and greater good, because we were really building the plane as we flew it. We didn't have time to make a great strategy and then follow it. But this was really worth it, I would say. And social media strategy, as I said, there was no particular political momentum, but there were moments that we could tap onto and like really ride the tide. Here's just one example. This was the time when Trump administration had come to power, and then all the Silicon Valley organizations were freaking out, and Google removed, for example, Women's Day from its calendar. So we could tap onto this by super simple messages like, you can erase calendars, but you cannot erase a movement. Are you with us? So on and so forth. And like things like this we were basically doing. And then, yeah, finally, we were also like, we were all working our socials really hard in order to like build this idea of movement and build the momentum for this whole thing. Here's just a quick glimpse. This is not exhaustive at all in terms of all the socials, or, you know, there's no website, so on and so forth. This is just from our Facebook and Instagram. I just wanted to point out that if you look at the period of like campaigning, compared to the year before, in Facebook, we had like 3 times more reach, and in Instagram, we had 16 times more reach. So like the momentum building really worked. As a result, we had 131 organizations joining the march. We had 10,000 people on the streets, which in Finland is great. I have to say, we are a consensus-driven middle-class country, so people don't go to the streets on the first thing they could do, but this was really, really good for our first effort. All the major medias covered us, the former president joined, and our target was 10,000. We got 16,000 from small donor fundraising, and then organizations chipped in. So altogether, we got over 20,000 euros. And with that, we could make the infrastructure for this thing. Therefore, we're going to go bigger next year. And with that, I say questions, thank you. And I welcome all to Helsinki on 8th of March in 2026, if you would like to come. Thanks a lot.